Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Blackness in Dublin. This evening's scene will take place at the Gaiety Theatre, also known as the Den of Iniquity, Depravity, and otherwise Disembowelment, wherein the Camarilla Society of Dublin go to solve their wounds, contemplate their moves, and perfect their strategies. Tonight, the rain sloshes down. The city streets itself are slicked clean of whatever filth at one point lay upon them during the day. This torrential downpour is somewhat unseasonable. Yes, it's January, but the rain hadn't been forecast, it hadn't been planned for. However, needs must when the devil does. The lights at the Gaiety Theatre are burning bright. However, the bouncer outside the door will inform any would-be or interested parties who attempt to enter that a private function is being held this evening, and in no too uncertain terms that they should make scarce. Because this evening the dead rule where the living strut and fret their hour upon the stage. As our two new entrancees to the Kindred Society of Dublin enter, they will see a large open foyer that spreads out on either side with rather lavish seating in terms of couches and large, well-appointed chairs. There are a number of coffee tables, etc., at which you will see several individuals sitting. The doorway to the main stage is up a small flight of around 6 steps that lead into the grand double doors, which are closed to the outside currently. There is then another much grander staircase to the left, which sweeps upwards to enter the balcony, and a door off to the side, which one can assume is the entrance to the theatre bar. Seated, cross-legged, on the steps leading up to the entrance to the stage proper is this individual who has a very large leather-bound book that is currently open as they are scribbling in it. You'll see them they dip the nib of a quill or a very rustic form of pen into ink as they scribble on the page. Um, he will look up with very bright green eyes as new people whom he has not seen enters the Elysium. At this point, I will let you people intro. So I'll just call your names and then you do your little introduction. So first we shall have Liam.
Good evening. I can't say I've ever really been in this building much. I am Relius Dugal. Who, might I ask, are you, my young scholarly friend?
The eyebrow flicks up. Federica, can you describe the goal to me, please?
Pretty stocky-looking bloke, sort of neck length, dark hair. Sort of wears sort of a business suit with a little coat over the top, really.
Okay. He raises an eyebrow and he will say, Bonjour, monsieur. I have not been called that in some time. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, however. My name is Alexander Delano, Master of Harpies for the city of Dublin.
Master of Harpies. It seems the titles around here must have changed more frequently than I thought. Alexander Delano. That's French. 17th century?
He kind of quirks an eyebrow at the very odd question, and he will say, I do not like to divulge or indeed discuss my age. I do hope that you will not take offense, monsieur.
None at all. I understand that women don't discuss their age, and thus I shall keep my mouth rather tight-lipped on that one.
You know it's a man, right?
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Savage.
Walking up to the Master of Harpies and calling him a woman. Okay.
10 seconds into it, I'm just like, ugh.
This is going to be today, then.
Can I? Am I allowed to?
I was just about to indicate for you to do your own introduction. By all means, please go ahead.
All right. So Ryan, takes his rain hat off and gives it a shake. Forgive my friend's candor. He is antiquated, to say the least.
Oh,
right.
I've taken no offense, monsieur. I assure you. My apologies. Your name was?
Ryan Formeau, a pleasure.
He will extend his hand.
Yeah. I shake his hand. I'm like, you can see that I'm like uncomfortable with doing this a little bit, but I'm trying.
He will look you up and he'll say, I beg your pardon, messieurs. You represent clans.
My compatriot here is currently, I believe, a Toreador. Is that correct?
You know quite well what I am. Don't disparage our previous friendship, Ryan. Please.
Are you insinuating, monsieur, that there is something offensive about being a member of Clan Toreador?
I mean, I'm just not the fancy kind of guy. I'm a few screws short of a good fruit basket, if you know what I mean.
I see. I see indeed. You'll see him note something on his book.
Yeah.
And you, monsieur?
I purvey from the Clan Magar.
Good joke.
If you can call it the clan, at least.
I believe. One moment. You see him knock on the door, like behind him. The door opens, and a very, very large figure leans out. The figure itself is covered in bandages from head to foot. It's wearing a very dark hat over most of it, but as it extends its hand out to open the door, you can see even the hands are wrapped in bandages. And the two of them exchange a very few brief words before Delano kind of leans back up. His eyebrow quirks, and he'll say, I am not familiar with this grouping, monsieur. You will have to forgive me.
Not a problem. They are quite obscure. Yeah.
Well, it is my assumption in that case, since you are not on my ledger, that it is that you both wish to announce yourselves before the honored seneschal who is currently sitting to be accepted in the domain, oui?
That's correct.
Of course, good sir.
Yes. By all means, which one of you would care to go first, and which one would care to go second?
I mean, I'm often told it's fleas before beauty, so Ryan, would you do me the good honor?
Yeah. All right. I grin smugly.
On the side note, if either of you wish to roll perception empathy in our dice room, this will be the first time you get to roll dice. You get to because you've perception empathy.
All right. Real quick, I don't really know how to control anything because I've never been on Google Hangouts before.
No, we use our Discord to roll. So go to the Dublin Discord, which has our little penguin Dalmore friend, who is friend.
I do not have the Darkness in Dublin Discord. You will have to invite me.
Okay. Invite the people.
That's interesting. I'm pretty sure I joined it. Have I been kicked or something?
I don't think so.
Regardless, we shall rejoin.
You weren't kicked if I was looking after it, but then again, sometimes our Discord just does odd things because it decides to invite peoples. I will just I shall just put the link to it in. I'll just send you guys the link on Discord if that's acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
No worries. There we go. And there we go.
Okay, what was that roll you had asked for?
Perception plus empathy. It'll be difficulty 6. Just under the roll section is fine. I'll just give you a little player tag.
See if that works how I think it does. No, it doesn't.
It's just hashtag. You need to put a space between the or and the 7.
I see.
I believe Discord's just being slow as fuck again. Nope, there it is. So the 1 counts out. The 1 discounts the 10. So that is 2 successes in 2 till. Because it's difficulty 6.
Is that correct?
Yes.
No, you put a space between the or and the 3. It's a process. Don't worry, you'll get it.
editing it does not work either.
Does the
No.
10 not explode for my specialty?
It does, but the 1 discounts the 10.
There you go.
Fuck.
Oh no. Okay, you only really need 1 success for this. Our dear Malkavian friend here has royally pissed off the Senesh, has royally pissed off the Harpy. Like he's not at the point of frenzying, but he is very perturbed with life at the moment.
Brilliant.
Oh, God.
So in that case, he will denote Mr. Ryan. He'll tap on the door again. The door will open, and he will say, "Please step inside, monsieur."
Thank you, Alex. I'll appreciate this. I look forward to our next meeting. Leave, enter the room, etc.
For the record, as soon as you get up from Liam's perspective, Delano stands and walks the other side of the room as far away from you as he can physically get.
Joy. I do have all specs. That's Elysium legal, isn't it?
I mean, technically not, but it's very difficult to tell if you use it.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
you can usually get away with it.
But let me just see. All right, you enter into the stage room. The stage seems to have been set for some play or other. So you see the remains of the detritus of the set, in the form of a shilled out exterior of a house, etc., with a thatched roof. However, that is not the main point of interest. There are a number of figures who are scattered around the room. Many of them look rather relaxed. You'll notice the fact that most of the figures are themselves Nosferatu, or people who would you assume are Nosferatu, as they have taken the liberty of covering their faces. As wearing Mask of 1,000 Faces is considered an Elysium breach, they physically wear masks to hide their decaying and rotting features, as it is considered a sign of being polite. There is a large throne made of black wood that has been set up on the stage itself, so it kind of towers over the room and definitely towers over the person who is meant to kneel below when they are being addressed via the individual who takes the seat of knight.
Mhm.
And sitting, it's almost comical.
Okay.
Because the chair is quite large. It's almost comical because the person seated in the chair, who looks like this, he's only about 5'3". 5'2", 5'3". So he's like, the feet are dank. Like, you can tell this chair was made for someone much taller.
Yeah.
It's up to you if you want to laugh at him.
I think I'm gonna keep it to myself. This character's a very quiet type.
But the figure looks down at you from where he's sitting, and you can't. The one thing that you would assume might be vaguely magical is you can't see his, even with your specs, you can't see his eyes behind his mask.
Okay.
So they're just pools of black.
Do I know this person's name? Have I been told his name or?
You've been told it's the Seneschal. You assume he will introduce himself.
Okay.
Oh. I didn't realize that I was doing acceptances today. That very well. Who are you?
Ryan Famo. A pleasure.
Yes, where are my manners? Vincent Hennessy, the honoured Seneschal of Dublin, Clan Nosferatu. Delighted to make your acquaintance. You. I seem to recall reading something in the former... One moment, please. He slides forward in the chair so he can hop off the chair. Before he walks off the stage for about 30 seconds before coming back on. You see, he brings back a very charred up book. Like, you can tell this book has seen some severe fire damage. He's flicking through the pages. He says, here it is. Yes, that's very interesting. You're a very rare type, old bean, or at least according to this record, you're very rare.
I suppose you could say that.
Well, let me phrase it another way. I've been alive for a millennium or more, and I've only ever met one of you twice. And this is the second instance.
Well, I can assure you that any kind of power I'm able to yield is functionally normal.
This is an interesting conundrum because, of course, the Giovanni would be always happy if I was to throw you into their clutches, but then again, that would mean making the Giovanni happy, something I swore to Mumsy, dearest, I'd never do.
After all, it is important to honor the wishes of our family.
Indeed. So, you survived. You survived the Sabbat incursion. I'm going to assume, like the rest of our friends, you merely kept your head down and got on with business.
Yes, staying quiet and acting normally is what I do best.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Certainly not. Besides, I'm sure my skills could possibly come in useful.
Oh, I'm sure that they will. He hops back up onto the chair. For the record, like, there's no kind of comic, like, oh dear, high chair. He just kind of hops.
Yeah.
He'll say, he kind of pents his fingers together and he'll say, so, you wish for me to accept you formally into the domain of Prince Thrain. Well, I have no real issue in doing this, frankly. But I'm curious, is there anything in particular that we, the officials of the domain, may do for you?
I can't say there is at the moment. And I would rather like to avoid keeping you at my beck and call. So please, I'm sure that at some point we may come in a later conversation. But for the time being, I thank you for your offer and decline.
Wonderful. In that case, I formally recognize you as a member in good standing of the domain of Dublin. I'll have the Harpy make a note of it in his ledger. He snaps his fingers. One of the Nosferatu slinks, and I use the word slink because you probably didn't see them until they decided to make their presence known, and kind of tugs your sleeve a little bit, like tug, 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 tug.
I kind of like reflexively jump backwards a little bit because I don't like being touched.
That's fine. What have I told you, Snitch? So sorry, Master. I didn't mean to offend. No, I'm sure you didn't. He holds out he's wearing leather gloves. He holds out in a gloved hand a business card.
Oh, excellent. I did not realize we were exchanging cards. Excuse me. Like, I just like gets out his... I actually literally have a business card.
That's fine.
I got a little card box. I place one in his hand and I assume take it, the one that he's offering, yeah?
The Seneschal waves Snetch away, who takes the card before scuttling up onto the stage where he's sitting and handing it to Hennessy. He'll look down, he'll nod, and he'll say, ordinarily, had things been different, I wouldn't ordinarily be so forward in extending my contact information. However, it has become apparent to me that there is need of for lack of a better term, Seneschal, everything is on fire, contact number.
Oh. Well, I hope that this isn't necessary.
Oh, as do I, with extreme vehemence. Very well. As I said, welcome to the domain in that case, sir. You may withdraw.
Okay, well, with the bow, I leave. It's all right if just before I leave, can I go up to the bandage type dude, or at least keep myself at reasonable distance, but close enough that you can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's standing in front. He's basically guarding the door, so as you leave, you have to pass by him anyway.
Right. Excuse me, sir. I could not help but notice that you jumped backwards when you saw me.
He contemplates for a few moments, and he says, "Not jumped, more so surprised."
Interesting.
Abdul makes a study of odd kindred. Yours is a name that even Abdul did not know. Abdul was surprised.
Interesting. Well, perhaps Abdul could get the pleasure of knowing me further. Here, my card. I hand out my card. I've still got it in my hand anyway.
Yeah. He will look down. He will take the card. It will disappear into the kind of the ragged business suit slash bandages that he is wearing.
Okay.
Abdul will consider this. Nods his head.
Okay. I hope Abdul has a nice day, and I leave.
It has mind-fucked everyone that this guy refers to himself in the third person. It's just funny.
I'm just referring to him in the fourth. I'm just like, well, does Abdul object to this?
All right. In that case, from where he is, Abdul will actually he will say as you leave, send in the other one, would you?
Gladly. All right. I go through the door and look over to Relius. I believe you'll want it now, sir.
Oh, brilliant. I do hope that my friendship with the Primogen is not in any sort of destitute situation.
Well, you've done your best so far to endanger it.
I can't help it if a man doesn't want to discuss his age. Not
No,
many of
it's
them
true.
make it as old as we do.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't help it if you call him a woman.
I
was-
you can't see my face right now, but I'm doing that. Mm-hmm.
You know what? He's standing at the door. Abdul is going to say that. Abdul thinks you can help it if you call him a woman.
I was told by Mumsy that people who don't talk about their ages are usually women. It's not my fault if he's got extremely bony hands.
Abdul, he does have a point. I've heard it's rather rude to ask a lady her age.
Abdul is literally a mountain made of meat, is how I describe him. So you will just see the two massive shoulders shrug.
Regardless, I think I shall go and present myself now. How do I look, Ryan? Sort of slicks his hair back with some saliva.
Oh,
Positively dapper.
Why, thank you, my old friend. I don't know what I'd do without you.
did you literally just hook one in your hand and slick your hair back?
Yeah.
Be like hair gel. No thanks,
Okay.
I make my own.
All right. So once again, you will enter into the same auditorium, the same stage as Ryan has done. You will see the same figure who is seated on the throne, who will look down. He's reading something on a piece of paper as you walk in. He's flicking through a large black. It's a much different kind of ledger than the Harpies, but he's flicking through a ledger.
Okay. I'll sort of sidle in, just like hello. You wanted to see me, sir, madam, lord?
He raises a finger, as in be quiet for a moment, as he continues to shuffle through the book.
Weird flex, but okay.
I'll just sort of pent my hands and just wait.
He's like this for about 30 seconds before he closes the ledger. Now then, my apologies. The affairs of state, sometimes I actually need to know where money is being spent. Your name is, sir?
Relius Dugal, and here I was hoping you were reading one of my papers. What a shame.
I didn't know you were a writer, but that's neither here nor there. Vincent Hennessy, honoured Seneschal of Dublin and servant to His Highness Prince Thrain. I am to assume, much like my previous supplicant, you have come here in order to receive the blessing to remain within the domain.
Oh, I have indeed. I've been here 13 years. I couldn't dream of leaving now. Ryan would be so terribly lost without me.
I would.
Shut up, Ryan! No. But he'll kind of quirk his head at that statement. It's like, okay, I'm not going to judge your vampire bone sex, but I'm going to judge your vampire bone sex.
Well, I mean, he does wear the trousers. He does wear the trousers. I can't keep mine on.
But he'll look down at you and he'll say, and you are a member of the Scion of the Blood of Malkav.
Oh, most indefinitely, indubitably, yes, sir.
Very good. Well, I see no issue with you remaining in the domain.
Good. Is my friend still Primogen?
He will. He won't be the same person, but you can be friends with the current Primogen, whose name is Mr. Wordsworth.
Ah, Mr. Wordsworth. What a man. What a man.
That was a little like foreboding.
Yeah.
Mountain of meat.
Mountain of meat. Yes, meat.
Yes, Christ.
Well,
Well,
he will look down and he will say, "What line of work are you in, Mr. de Gaulle?"
Oh, I have a very non-broad sense of work, but if you must know, I could cite many of my sources. We have John Wycliffe, John Calhoun, Thomas Malthus. All these people are either my students or me under different names. So if you've read anything by them, it's probably me.
So you are a writer, in fact.
I am a social psychologist.
I see. Interesting. Very well. He once again snaps his fingers. The same little Malkavian, or little Malkavian, little Nosferatu, will scuttle forward. He will present you a business card.
I really want to gob, like, God, fuck, what are you?
Oh, this is how cute! I wonder where he hides this guy. I love it. I'll take the card and I will quickly like scribble something on some paper and hand it back, which is just a local telephone number.
That's fine. Once again, the little Nosferatu. Who did you think the seneschal is small? This one's about 5'11", or 4'11" rather.
Again, very cute.
You can't really see its face, but yes, scuttles back up to the Privigen who hands him the piece of paper. Very well, Mr. de Gaulle. You're welcome in the domain. I hope that you continue to prosper here for many more years.
As do I. And should any of these other creatures of yours ever need training, please feel free to ask. I do many studies on animals.
What? No, he stands up. The chair flies backwards. Did you just refer to my clanmate as an animal?
No, I said I do studies on animals, but they seem to heed you very well. If they ever need anything else teaching, I'd be happy to provide it.
I would recommend leaving now. Quickly.
As would I. Just gonna back away, panting fingers. Like I'm not gonna turn my back to him. I'm gonna just walk backwards in that way.
Welp, that went ways I didn't expect. Ooh.
Oh, just like old times, Ryan. The seneschal hates me, the harpy hates me, so now I have to kiss the prince's ass. Just like old times. I love it.
You gotta keep them in your good books, after all.
Oh, I know. I mean, I'm sure they'll find me more than useful. It's not every day you meet a Malkavian of my fucking age. Oh well. Maybe do you think the seneschal would forgive me by ways of insanity?
I don't believe that they hold up in a court of law.
What a shame. And here I was thinking this whole masquerade lark was meant to be very civil.
I can picture it now. But Senator, I was insane. I didn't know such thing.
I mean, there has been a chronic plague of foot and mouth. Maybe he'll believe I have foot in mouth. That's a good one, right? That's a thing?
Don't ever become a comedian.
No, I was always better with the books. Oh, sorry. I imagine you and I should leave, Ryan. I have your tea cooking at home.
I rub my hands together.
Good. And with that, we shall end our scene. This has been a most interesting introduction. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.